Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Findley, and if you don't know, I am actually the CEO and or managing owner for both Historic Sim Studios and Authentic Simulation LLC. Historic Sim Studios is my wholly owned company, sim racing company, and then Authentic Simulation is a project where I'm working with multiple co-owners to develop what I believe is going to be a major sim racing studio over time. Hopefully, right now, obviously, starting off with the mods and a lot of business to business type support behind the scenes for a lot of the current games, next generation games that are in development. So today I did something like this similar just for Historic Sim Studios on the YouTube channel over there. So go check out that channel. It's growing and we're over 500 subscribers. We post videos over there occasionally, and I hope to do a lot more over there this month. And I'll show you why. So, as you can see right here, voila, we have a packed February for you all. I got releases coming from Historic Sim Studios practically every day, and then the days that I don't, I got something coming from Authentic Simulation for you all. So I have been working pretty much tirelessly planning this out through December and January. It's actually very few people on my team even understood kind of my ambitious approach I wanted to take to February. And I build it, as you can see here, a force feedback February, right? And I had polls with our supporters who giving us feedback on the cars and things like that. All of that was in anticipation for what I believe is going to be the biggest month in my sim racing career. And that is what we're going to try to accomplish right here with all these releases. And so I'm going to get into it. I'm going to talk about kind of the general releases we're going to have this month, some of the goals that I have. And yeah, and then I'll put stuff up here to show off the cars and things like that with an overlay. So yeah, let's jump right in so this video doesn't take too long. Right off the bat, right? We're going 1907 and then 1970. So big old gap in years, big variety right at the start, big updates. These are actually ready to go already. They're just waiting for me to push them out. So real exciting. The BRM especially has got a really cool livery that we're going to push out for you, some visual updates. And both of these releases are going to be more on the visual side of things. Although force feedback, right? Every single release will most likely be getting some sort of force feedback update. I believe I found a way working within the force feedback code to adjust for the more powerful direct drive bases as well as the less powerful bases by adjusting the linearity of the force feedback curve just a little bit. It's not going to be big. I mean, I don't want to go in there and say we're going to make a massive change, but I am going to make a slight change that will allow for, you know, at lower speeds, at more technical corners, you're going to feel more. But when you start to get those higher speeds, you're not going to have just that increase that can get up to the point where it's so powerful it starts to damage or maybe damage yourself through your direct drive wheel. So there's been some experiments I've been doing based also on just community feedback as well. I really think you guys are going to be really pleased with what we're going to do over the course of this month to step up our force feedback game, which I already feel like is quite good. Obviously better than a lot of, you know, kind of the janky mods out there, and now we're trying to take it to be the very best if we can. So that's the goal. And so then jumping in, we have the next major thing is on this Saturday, February 3rd, Authentic Simulation's first publicly available mod, the 2023 Formula Gold, is going to release. It's going to be entirely for free for all of you to enjoy. Check out the distribution partner for Authentic Simulation is simvendor.com. It's a newer website that I've actually been involved with. There's a lot of other creators involved with. It's kind of by creators for creators. And so been really excited to try that out. At this point, it's kind of an invite-only platform, and there a lot of pages aren't necessarily up yet. But just to give a general idea, it's a less than 5% distribution take that SimVendor takes, and it's literally the idea is that it's to run the platform and keep it going. It's not trying to make a profit because it's by creators for creators. So when I was hearing about that, I wanted to get involved and got a stake in that enterprise, of course. And so really excited. Historic Sim Studios content is also over there as well now, and we may transition the Historic Sim Studios content over the course of this month actually to be fully on the Sim Vendor site, at least the storefront, which would actually save me quite a bit of cost from having to host my own website and things like that. So we'll see how that all goes. But Sim Vendor website, as well as it'll also be released on Race Department as well, entirely for free. Authentic Simulations 2023 Formula Gold. It doesn't use any CSP features, so it's perfectly compatible with Assetto Corsa Pro. So, and there's going to be details in the download about that. So if you're an Assetto Corsa Pro user, reach out to me. We'll work out a very affordable rate for your company to be able to use that car. But it also shows kind of what can be accomplished within the base Assetto Corsa physics engine, which I think is really exciting. And then, of course, we're going to be releasing later in the year a 2024 Formula Gold with every bell and whistle, and that'll cost a couple of dollars. So just kind of a free way to test out what we're going to be doing over at Authentic Simulation. So, all right, moving on. Then now in the next week, we're going to be jumping in the 1958 Lotus 16. The tour circuit is going to be getting a visual update as well. I'm sure a lot of you are interested to see what are we doing with that track, since we acquired it from Grand Prix Experience. Well, we're going to be revisiting it. It's going to get a new track surface. There are tree lining the sides, kind of the tree barriers. Not all the trees, but the tree barriers have been updated with individual trees being placed. And, of course, a few other things that are going to just be a nice improvement for you all. There's obviously a lot of work still to go. It's only going to be a version 0.8, but it's a step in the right direction, right? And it's a project that we want to continue to develop over these coming months. Obviously, being a big track and a track where you're having to go back and fix things, it can be quite a time-consuming process, and it might never be quite the same as a pure scratch build we make, but we're going to do our very best to see if we can make that happen. So that's an update there. Studebaker IndyCar, 2 new skins. It's a whole bunch of new textures we're going to try to do. We're using some new techniques with some new materials for the 1932 Studebaker IndyCar, which is kind of an experiment. So we'll be really excited to see your feedback on that. The 1915 Ford Model T Speedster, that update's actually pretty much finished. We're just working on a couple of visual things, trying to fix a little thing here and there. But in terms of I got the physics side of it already pretty much ready to go. So that's an exciting update. It pairs really well with our 1915 Ascot Park, for example, which we have available in early access as well. 1924 Delage 2LCV update, as well as then we got the rest of the 1924 cars. We're going to be getting the force feedback updates, some physics things. Mostly the Bugatti will be getting a few updates. And yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see the reception for those cars. They're very popular, maybe our most popular cars that we've released are the 1924 cars, and I love them as well. I mean, they're one of my absolute favorites as well. So really cool bunch of cars, and we'll be hitting those in the middle of the month. 1906 Locomobile, I know I haven't touched that thing for like a year. It's getting a comprehensive physics update, nothing visual yet, because we will be at some point revisiting that 3D model. Maybe we'll get a visual update out for this update, but probably in a month or two down the road, we'll also add the visual update to it. And then now we are smack in the middle of the month. The Super Bowl's over. We have the 1994 Stock Car Thunder Pack with 3 American stock cars, V8, muscle, America baby, all that. We got that pack releasing on the 12th. And so I'm really excited to bring that to you. I've worked a lot of hours on that. We've had help from some volunteers to develop it. Real big thanks out to Narwhal's been one of those who has helped us out. If you know who he is, he's been involved, in the pits, in the garages, in the lower levels of the NASCAR racing and, American oval racing series. So he's been providing invaluable feedback, working on the physics and things like that, which is, I hope, going to shine through in the experience you guys have. The sound, I think, is incredible. We actually worked with an external sound studio to develop these sounds and top-notch stuff. So really exciting pack. And then the following day, we will be releasing our 1994 North Wilkesboro to the public. They'll be leaving the early access, be available on SimVendor, Historic Sim Studios website, and then of course also the Race Department website entirely for free for all of you. So hopefully a little bit of cross promotion, right? We released the paid pack, but then we released the track that's going to fit perfectly with them, and so hopefully people download the track and then maybe be a little more willing, right, to come over and spend $5 and get these 3 amazing 1994 American stock cars. So that's at least my thought process behind it, right? Now we're going to revisit the Japanese GT cars. I got the Isuzu Bellet, which has got a big old update coming. The Daihatsu P5, very minor update, just a couple bug fixes. I know that car's already been in public release, but we are going to touch on it, so small update, but still going to push it out. The 1968 Toyota is going to get a nice update as well, kind of force feedback, a couple physics things, adding some advanced CSP features, stuff like that. Then we're on to the 1934 cars. And I know a lot of you are excited about this. We maybe could have done this earlier in the month, but I just really want to make sure we have the time to make sure this is right. I know a lot of you have been waiting for these updates. The Maserati, right? Really cool car. We got that out. I think the version 1.01 right now is an incredible car to drive. These are going to be close. These are going to be right there at the finish line. You know, they're going to be a month or two away from a public release, and these cars are going to be, you know, this update's going to be fantastic. So we're not going to rush it. I know we keep saying that, but we do have a date now. These are going to be released from February 17th through February 18th. We're going to get the Alfa Romeo P3 and the Bugatti T59. And so both of those cars are going to be available for you all to enjoy and add to race along with the Maserati. The Vanderbilt Cup race coming up, which I know there have been some details released, but that's kind of being put on hold for now. But it will use those 3 cars, so it's going to be a big feature in our first really big online promotion. We're just kind of looking for either a partner, or if we don't use a partner to promote the race, then we'll probably end up hosting the event ourselves, but I really want to make sure we do it right. So, obviously, right, a big event using these really cool 1934 cars, we want to have the opportunity to draw new people in who maybe are more into modern sim racing or maybe more into casual racing, but they're like, you know what, big paid event, there's some prizes, there's a lot of people in this, sounds like fun, I'll compete in the Vanderbilt Cup. And so they'll jump in and perhaps they fall in love. That's the goal, right? They fall in love with these vintage cars, and you know, they may perhaps become a supporter, or even better, they just become a part of the historic racing community and the historic sim racing community. And that's one of the biggest goals I have for everyone, right? These cars bring so much, they're such a big part of my life. They're such a point of passion and enjoyment, and I want people to be able to at least experience that. Just try it, right? And that's going to be a big part of this Vanderbilt Cup race, and these 1934 Grand Prix cars, and this big update is just all tied into that. So really exciting. I know a lot of you are really pumped for that. So glad to finally have a date penciled down for you all. All right, then we get the 1973 McLaren IndyCar update. Something pretty, I don't expect it'll be that major. That car's pretty much done, but we'll revisit, see what we can do. A 1904 Ford 999, that is getting both a visual update, a brand new sound. It's got the sounds are ready to go already. It's going to have a visual update, which is in progress. There's going to be a physics update. I mean, that thing is getting, it is going to be a massive update for the 1902 Ford 999, and that is going to push it right up to kind of where I hope will be pretty much a close to ready to release. We'll see, but yeah, big update. 1925 Alfa Romeo P2, and then the 1925 cars. So this is like the same. These are just our 1924 cars with 1925 physics, which means like bigger engines, a little more powerful. The Delage is going to maybe have its sounds ready, so because it adds a supercharger in 25. So we'll see if we can add that in time for this update. I would like to. That's a goal. Anyways. So, really cool. I know I haven't really updated the 1925 versions, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. Now, back to an authentic simulation release. This is our second one. This is a project we've been working on for a client. They designed the blueprints and a lot of details, and we've worked hand in hand to craft the car in terms of a 3D model based on their feedback, going back and forth, right? It's based kind of on the vintage idea of like the Lancia Group B cars and that era. What if we bring it forward today? How do we revitalize that and but capture some of that passion, that rawness of racing, rally racing, and then put it into a modern, affordable package for people to enjoy and race? That's the idea. It's going to be available entirely for free. It's a free release as well. It will be available on simvendor.com as well as Race Department. So check that out. It's going to be a really cool release. We're going to have maybe some more videos diving in as well into that entire creative process. And that's been a lot of fun. It's brought in some needed funds for authentic simulation and actually kind of helped to cover the cost of developing the 2023 Formula Gold as well. So that's, you know, if you always want to know the dynamic of how do we do this, right? Well, the Patreon sure ain't enough to support when projects are around $2,000 or so base my cost when I'm paying out of my pocket. So how do we do it? We do business-to-business projects. We create 3D models for other games. We do projects for clients. And this is a really cool one to build their dream car and kind of bring it to life with an Assetto Corsa. And of course, to have it be available freely for all of you. It's a unique look. It's what the client wants. I know some of you might think it's a little bit weird looking, but I know others of you are going to find it absolutely a really, really cool looking car. So excited about that. And now we're into the final stretch here. We've got the 1907 Itala 35/45 update, 1907 Itala 35 slash, it would be the 1906 Itala 35/40 update. So both of those are going to get visual updates to kind of match. Remember, at the beginning of the month, we're releasing an update. It'll be an update to match that. So it's going to be kind of bringing the quality of new steering wheels, things like that, big up visual updates. So it should be a lot of fun to get those updated visual cars out to you guys. 1970 Ferrari 312B. I'm not even 100% sure what this update's going to be. We haven't really worked on the car that much since the last update, but that's why I put it at the end of the month. There will be an update. We're going to be pushing it closer to its kind of final state. Maybe add a few more skins, things like that. We'll figure it out, but there will be an update at the end of the month for the Ferrari to continue pushing that project along. The 1926 Amilcar CGSS. This has been pushed all the way back, and talk to you a little bit about this for a second. I know I mentioned we were going to release this last month, and it just never happened, and that's due to we're developing a very, well, kind of a proprietary physics system with a really advanced code and features using custom Lua scripts and things to simulate an advanced engine and stuff like that. Obviously, we have to encrypt this so that people can't just copy it and use it for whatever they want, right? This has taken a large investment on our part to develop, and we can't have anyone just use this. And we're honestly using this as kind of a testbed project. It's a single car, single class 1926 Ford Tourette. And so we're working on it. There are features, we're essentially rewriting a lot of the physics code. We've created a water simulation system, a heating system. If you get damage on the front panel of your car, that will reduce the amount of airflow going in through the radiator, which will then cause radiator temperatures to rise, which could then lead to a higher chance of a malfunction happening, a spark plug failure. Your transmission may, due to misfiring, may actually end up breaking, and you may miss a gear, so you may not be able to shift properly. There's an entire dynamic damage model and simulation occurring within the physics that we are writing within Lua that will work within Assetto Corsa. This is not an easy thing to develop, and we do not want to rush this out. Oh, they're talking co-driver, another thing that gives you updates on the status of your car. Like, this is very complicated. We've run into tons of bugs. Co-driver doesn't like to repeat things is one, so that's a problem, right? So so we're definitely going to be continuing to work on this project. I put it at the very end of the month. If it's not ready, it's not ready. I will have an update of some kind. Like I said, there will be an update for the car at the end of the month if the larger update isn't ready, but we are going to hopefully push something out at the end of the month with the new Lua code encrypted and all of that, and push it out as a test bed for you guys. So that's one of our long-term plans, and then we hope to bring kind of that to a lot of our other cars if we get positive feedback. Maybe certain parts we won't bring, and so it's going to be a really big project. And another reason for it being at the end of the month, because that will kind of hint some of the plans for March. So you can take that as what you will, but there are some crazy plans in the future for March as well. So how far can we push Assetto Corsa? Well, it's really the bounds of your Lua coding skills. At least that's what we're hoping. So yeah, really exciting stuff. And then on the 29th, well, that's Leap Day, I believe, and we're gonna have a secret release. It's to be announced. It's gonna be really cool. It also gives me leeway, right? If it's not ready, I could just release something else. So yeah, it'll be something released for everyone to enjoy the last day of the month. So every single day we got something going on with one of the companies I'm involved with, whether it's Authentic Simulation or Historic Sim Studio. I'm extremely busy in the sim racing community. As you notice, I've been pushing out videos essentially every single day here on this channel because I love sim racing. This is my community. This is my career. I'm doing everything I can to make that happen. It's a very expensive endeavor to do updates like this. At my team of 20, 30 people is expensive. We have salaries. We have families to feed. I know we got plenty of volunteers or those who work for way less than honestly they deserve. But we also have full-time staff as well, including myself, and it really, any of you who support what I'm doing over at Historic Sim Studio with a membership either through Discord or through Patreon, you feed me, you feed my team, and you allow for the production of these mods. And I know it might not look like, oh, it's not $2,000 yet. Sure, but it still helps to cover some of the cost, and it makes it easier for us not to have to just chase all these big contracts just to make ends meet. We can instead focus on doing these passion projects for all of you. So anyone who supports us, I just have to say thank you so much. Your help is just, you put the food on my plate, and that's something I'm very grateful for. And I'm going to continue to put my head down and grind and push this stuff out to you, cover it in YouTube videos, and hopefully you guys can feel as much a part of the process as you can. Always feel free to email me, message me on Discord, anything to feel, like you're part of this mission. I would love to do that, and thank you so much. And of course, most of all, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week.